Hey, I wanted to pop on here today to talk about how to unclutter your home. And I'm actually in the process of organizing clothes, so I figured I would just talk about it. So today I decided to go over my daughter's and mine like summer clothes and take out the stuff that she no longer needs and replace it with like more fall clothes, right? And so I do this process about maybe like once every 2 months, right? So I go through her clothes, and my tip number one for organizing clothes in drawers or just anywhere that you have just items that you need to fold, including towels and things like that. I use the KonMari method. So you can Google the KonMari method, and it's a way that, so there's a process, right? And one of her things is talking about just keeping the things that bring you joy, right? And I've been going through this process for about 3 years now, and I'm down to items pretty much that I truly love and that I use all the time. And I used to have things in my home that I just never use, and I would keep things in drawers, and and that really affected my my mood and energy, and I didn't know it at the time. But now that I live a more uncluttered life in my home, I'm able to think a lot more clearly. I know where everything is. I actually get excited when I have empty drawers. It's like a weird, funny thing, but I love when I can get rid of things that no longer serve me, and then keep things that I truly love. And then if I do decide to buy anything, it's because I need it, and it will have more than one purpose, and things like that. I don't just buy things anymore to just have things. So my tip number one is to use the KonMari method, right? Because just like in our life, right, I've been studying self-development for about 10 years now, and what I've noticed is there's constantly this cleanup of thoughts that I'm doing, right? And it's the same thing that you're doing at home, right? And what I'm trying to say is that your environment affects the way that your energy is, how your mood, how you feel. When you wake up and you look at your home, if it's cluttered, you're just, it's hard to start a day off on the right foot if your house is cluttered, if you know that your drawers are messy, and you have many miscellaneous drawers and things are all over the place. I'm happy to say that that's no longer how my life is, but I was definitely in the other place where just even my life was all over the place. And it's we spend a lot of time in our home, right? And so the more love and respect you give it, the more organization, it really pays back in how you feel when you're in your home. And I talk to a lot of moms from this group, and that have some issues, even let's say with their partners, and their partners expect the house to look a certain way when they come home from work, let's say. And staying organized really helps you stay on track, right? So for example, after the day is done and my daughter's asleep, it literally takes me 5 minutes to tidy up. Even if the house looks like a mess, it's just things all over the place, right? So each thing has a place to go. And I like to wake up in the morning and everything to be in its place. Every pillow for it, to be, every blanket and things like that. I don't like things out of order. And it just it makes my day start on the right foot. So, since we're constantly improving and taking out things in our life that no longer matter, again, this kind of goes hand in hand. And this will help you with taking out things out of your mind, right, that no longer matter. Because to be honest with you, once you dedicate yourself to do this cleansing work, it's almost like a meditation, right? So, and my tip number 2 is do not do this with your kids around, or anyone if you can. Like literally have your husband or your partner just say, honey, I need to get my things organized, right? Like we need to, and maybe just start with one room, depending on, you know, how deep you are into clutter, which is so common with moms because we tend to just put things to the side. And to keep things organized in your home is a form of self-care and self-respect, right? Because you are, it's not just for your kids and your husband or your partner. I mean, they greatly benefit from it, but it's for yourself as well. So I deeply encourage you to start the process of uncluttering. If you want me to talk about it a little bit more, if you have any questions, like I love to talk about anything organizing and uncluttering, and I just felt like it was such a important topic to discuss in order for you to have just better quality life, quality thoughts. Like, you know, stop thinking small, and these things, like they're all connected, right? So your environment affects how you feel. Okay, so it's Friday, and every Friday, my daughter's in daycare Tuesday through Friday 9 to 3, but every Friday I clean my house by myself. And I actually enjoy the process. It takes me about an hour and a half because my house is organized, right? If it wasn't organized, I would be having to put things all over the place and it would probably take me double the time. So I actually clean the house once it's organized, and all I have to do is dust, you know, vacuum or mop and do the bathrooms, right? And the kitchen. Takes me an hour and a half. I put on like uplifting music, I dance, sometimes I'll do like a plank or like a downward dog, you know, like I have fun with it, or I listen to a podcast. And you know, while you're doing that, you could also tune into our podcast. We have a show called Love Yourself to Happiness Show, where we interview other wellness experts on, you know, on their expertise, and there's always fun conversations in there to listen to, and just to get you started on your self-help journey. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. After I'm done cleaning my home, I started to do this thing. I don't know if you ladies are familiar, but it's called saging. And I used to sage, but it was like a very sporadic kind of experience. Like maybe like if I was doing a new moon ritual, or I just felt like something in my life needed to shift and there was like some stale energy, right? And so I would sage. But now, after each cleaning session, and today especially because I'm organizing all of our clothes and getting rid of things that, you know, no longer fit my daughter, I'm gonna sage the house right after everything is done. And so this is the sage stick that I have. I got this one at Whole Foods, like literally I think over a year ago. These things last a really long time, and there's different ones you can get. So you could get them at health food stores or online. I'm sure Amazon has a ton. But I wanted to read you a little something about this practice. So there's a long history of Native Americans using sage to connect to the spirit world and cleanse the body and space of impurities before a ceremony. The life force energy of its smoke penetrates deep into the ether and alters the vibration of a space or living being by absorbing heavy, dense energy. And from a hard science perspective, sage has been proven to absorb up to 94% of airborne bacteria, which is like incredible. So, and you know, whether you use natural cleaning products or not, like this is such a healthy way to cleanse your home after, you know, cleaning it, because we do have, you know, there's a lot of toxins in the air. But this is also a spiritual practice for me. And what I started to do last week, and I wanted to share with you, is there's a process that, so you start at the door and you do counterclockwise. Let's say like you start at the lower level. I have 3 levels, so I go, actually the basic level I do, and then I go into the basement, and then I go upstairs, right? And I do all the rooms, and if I feel like a room is like, needs extra clearing, like I'll open the closets, and I'll go in the closets, and in each room, what I started to do is like set an intention, right? And so when I started at the door, and I also do this while listening to affirmations. So there's a lot going on there. And if you're new to this, like practice, it could sound a little bit weird, but trust me, it's very good. So in each room, for example, if it's my family room, I'll say, I wish for this space to have lots of laughter and lots of playtime. And, if I go to the dining room space, to have great conversations. And the kitchen space, I'll say, I want this space to attract like amazing organic whole foods and things like that, right? In my bedroom, I say I want this space to provide a sense of calmness, peace, tranquility, and deep sleep. And same thing in my daughter's room. And so anyway, so this practice after cleaning, it takes about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And I do this when it's just me at the house, because it's a form of self-care for me. But I tell you, last week I did it and I slept so good. I knew my house was clean. I knew I've done something with the energy. Even though we can't see energy, we can feel it. And if you meditate and you're tuned inward, you know that there's constant work to be done. And this is one of the tools that I'm going to be using every week. And I also use crystals. So I put out the crystals in the sun to get recharged. And it's a whole nother topic. And, you can charge up the crystals and actually give them a job to do, right? So because crystals also are energy, come from Earth, and they vibrate at a such high level. And so when you communicate with them and give them a job to do, it kind of like, it will give you that back in your life. So let me see if I'm missing anything else. Nope, that's it. So the 3 tips to unclutter your home, the KonMari method. I think I wrote a blog post. I'm going to look for it and put it in the comments below on the process of the KonMari method. So know that an organized home equals an organized mind, right? And so you want to do this, you want to set a day, maybe next week, where you're going to be home alone for at least like 4 hours, because once you get into the process, it's a lot messier, once you get started, than it is obviously when you finish, but it's a long process. So give yourself a nice window. And if you have a lot of things to unclutter, just do this once a week for 3 hours or 3 or 4 hours at a time. And just see how like your life, your energy, your moods, and your thoughts will improve by doing this practice. And then the weekly sage, and so have a ritual with your home that you do after cleaning your house. And those are my 3 tips. I hope everyone enjoy them. Hi Amy, hi Jean. So good to have you ladies here. I hope that this has inspired you to start uncluttering your home. It will improve also your relationships, because you're gonna feel a lot more clearer, right? And so however you're feeling inside, your emotions, thank you so much. Hi Janet. So however you're feeling inside, your relationships reflect that, right? And so a lot of times we think that it's the other people, but in reality it always comes back to us. So the more work that you do with your self-development and self-care, the better your relationships will be, even with your kids, your coworkers, your family. And we are here to root you on. And if you are interested in this work, and if you want to work a little bit deeper and, you know, create a more personalized one-on-one experience, we also offer free 45-minute private, you know, consultations, and to see if we can help you, you know, with whatever things that are in your life that you want to improve. So, and also I wanted to mention that next month in October, we're going to be focused on goals. So that's a really fun one. And the reason why we're doing it in October is because I feel personally in January, it's too late to set intentions or resolutions. And so I want everyone to get started early. So we're going to focus all month on goals and give you our best tips. So hope everyone's having a beautiful weekend. I love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.